My name is Brian, and I'm an amateur remote viewer. In today's video, we're going to see if I can remote view a target from someone's memory. So to give a quick recap of what remote viewing even is, it is a protocol designed by the US military under the secret project Stargate. It was developed in 1970 through 1980, and then it turned into a CIA thing, and then it was disbanded. And the protocol requires the remote viewer to be blind to the target, meaning having no knowledge of the target at all. They go into a meditative state, and then they get impressions, and they'll verbalize the impressions they get, or draw them, or write them down. And then you receive feedback and see how accurate the remote view was. So, the control measures I did for this remote view, I asked my girlfriend to think of a target from her memory, and I just told her to tell me when she has a target in mind, and then she selected one. And then the only thing I asked her was, is it something that I can look on Google Earth with? And she said yes. So, the following video is going to be an audio recording I did of me verbalizing my impressions that I'm getting. And then I put a transcript in the next section, followed by a picture of notes I wrote down and drawings I did. And then we're going to end on analyzing the actual target via Google Earth and see if anything was on target and point out things that weren't on target. So that's pretty much it. Enjoy. Large rounded rocks you'd find near a river. A figure 4 that seems part of a structure. Possibly a bridge over water. grassy trail. A lot of branches from trees. See bottoms of shoes. It's like a well-traveled path. A lot of moisture in the air. It's more nature than human structure based. People would take naps outside around this area. There's a long straight road. Then a sharp angle, so I feel like it's like in a corner of a lot or something. I see like a textured stone-like material. I see something I don't have to draw down. It's like a building. The entryway, it seems like, in the corner. See one of those like silver spinning things on top of buildings. I don't know what those are called. And it's on top of a big building, larger building. Rounded roof. the figure 4 structural thing. I don't know if that was with the bridge or part of this building. I feel like it's very water related though. Perhaps underwater. I see a deep blue. I guess there would be some sort of structure underwater. I imagine not a house. Has to be some sort of attraction if there was a lot of people there, or if it's well traveled. Either a lake or the ocean. I'm seeing underneath a dock of some kind. The wooden structures. That might be where the figure 4 structure was from. Might be front loading, but there's probably fishing if it's near water.
thought about fishing. Seemed like a straw-like or fiber-like roof or canopy, like of a outside a back patio or the front patio or something like that. I see blotches of something. I feel it's like corroded, something corroded, like rust. Like the metals near an ocean, how it corrodes. Tiled floor pattern, perhaps inside the nearest building. There's writing. Which I do not know what it says. I feel like there's writing involved. Like a safety, like a sign for safety or something. Or maybe rules around the area. It's like tube-like. I think there's some structures with tube-like structures, like bamboo or something like that.
All right. So the actual target was in Virginia Beach, Nightmare Mansion. Uh, Me and my girlfriend Angela actually looked this target over beforehand, but we thought it was pretty compelling and we wanted to show y'all. So we're gonna zoom in into the spot. All right. So one of the things that already sticks out to me, uh, as I said, it was in like a corner lot. There was like a harsh direction right here, and give a street view. And since this is her memory, her childhood memory, I thought she should have a voice in saying what like what she thinks of the target itself, like the notes and everything.
Yeah, so essentially this is a view of it like older. So this is what it looks like from what I remember. But he can give you like a newer version look of what it looks like now. But relatively it's still the same as far as structure and concept, so we just thought to put that in there of like a POV. Um but essentially what it is like it's just like your everyday like tourist shop, but upstairs is like a little haunted house kind of thing. And underneath the chin of the skeleton is like there used to be like a skeleton that was like pressed up against the window that I remember. So and of course I was young, so like this location always kind of scared me a little bit to go into. So I thought that I would give him kind of like a memory that had, I guess, somewhat of a strong emotional tie to. So just to see like where he could be at of like pinpointing areas better than just like things that have no emotional connection per se.
So, uh, just based off of my notes, there's a few things that really stick out with me. Is the corner fed building, which I drew. I mean, that's pretty spot on to me if I say so myself, at least with this one. And the road. And sure, you can say the tile pattern. There's tile patterns, but I mean, that's reaching a bit, in my opinion. Uh, I know you mentioned that uh, there was like a statue that could be underwater. I did put that down in my notes as well. You want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so um in his notes he has here something corroded like metal near the ocean. So there's like a main hub part of the boardwalk that has a statue of Poseidon. Um and it in newer photos it is like cleaned up a little bit so it doesn't look as corroded, but one thing that I did remember is it kind of looked like the Statue of Liberty, like that pale sea foam, obviously like corrosion from the sea from the salt water in the air. um so I mean that kind of stuck out to me. And first, when I was thinking of this memory, this was actually the first thing that I thought of. But then I decided not to use this because I was thinking, oh, we can use this for like a different time. Um, just to just for, a different practice. So I thought it was actually kind of interesting that it almost is like he picked up on different things that I was thinking of but didn't stay to, which we'll touch on like um a little bit of the other ones later.
So, what I found also interesting is just the fact that I picked up on like there's moisture in the air and even like abstract things like people would uh relax and take a nap here, which I'm trying to find. yeah, people would take naps outside around this area. I mean, the beach, uh, and that perception of being underwater, which I think you mentioned earlier that it can be underwater sometimes, at least when the tide is in. Not the whole thing, obviously, but
Yeah, probably like with storms and stuff. I mean, come high tide. Uh I can't remember of like a big storm that had come through, but I'm sure there probably is one. I think there's actually multiple different statues like this. I think there's one other one in a different country that is in the water.
all right. Uh, let's see what else we can hit on right here. Rounded roof. I mean, I'd say that was pretty off target. The roof was pretty flat. Uh, some sort of attraction. There's a lot of people there. Uh, or if it's well traveled. I mean, it's a haunted house thing. That's a major attraction. See, underneath a dock of some kind, wooden structures that might be where the figure four structure was from, which I know there is a long dock pretty close. I'll mark where the actual point was, or the target was, to give a comparison of how close proximity. So it's there, and the dock is down here. And I know this is a fishing dock as well. I wrote down that uh, fishing was involved. I was a little iffy on the description of it, whether it was on target or not. Um, let's see. It's like tube-like. I think there's some structures with tube-like structures, like bamboo or something like that. Do you have anything to hit on with that?
Yeah, so that was another one that stuck out to me that I was gonna touch base on. So, I mean, wood logs, I mean, both of them are kind of correct, like wood logs and bamboo. But for the wooden logs part, back in the day, um, I'm sure they've taken it out now because of, constantly having to repair, but there used to be wooden boardwalk, like genuine wooden boardwalk that we would walk across because it's just like a big strip. I'm sure they've taken it out now and it's all concrete. Um, and then another thing is like the bamboo part. So if you're familiar with like East Coast beaches, there are some that you have to park in a parking lot and then walk and kind of commute to this sand. But in between that, there is actual legitimate boardwalk that's like going through shrubs or like foliage. It's just like a little trail, and that is genuine like boardwalk too. Um but with like the bamboo correlation, there was like bamboo like plants that I remember, and they just would be like growing straight up out of the sand around those little trails that you would have to get to the beach. So that's kind of another thought process that I had before initially landing on the location marker that I had.
So, yeah, I'd say that's pretty interesting and compelling. Uh, I mean, I'd say this is a pretty good remote view. Uh, but I mean, is it a remote view or is it telepathy or maybe a combination of both? Because I think it's because I was able to be more correct because I'm more connected with her and we're around each other all the time. And it seems that I was way more accurate than I would usually be. So, I mean, you can leave a comment down below of what your thoughts of what the reasoning behind that, but I deem that as a big factor of the accuracy part. Anything else you want to hit on?
Um, I guess one thing I would also like to preface is I was trying to find, I guess, like a memory that I hadn't shared with him in detail that he wouldn't know about or remember. So I was trying to find really niche memories that only really I would know and that I would see through my perspective of knowing. Um, because I mean, I had told him I had lived in Virginia, and that we would go to the beach a lot, but this specific memory was something like very detailed down to the T that only I would be able to recite and know.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it. Let me know what y'all think. And yeah. All right. So I'd say that target was pretty compelling. And I realize there's going to be a lot of skepticism with that. I know there would be multiple ways of how we could fake that by putting in some stuff that was off target, uh, and drawing things such as that. But at the end of the day, there's always going to be skeptics, no matter how many control measures we do and documentation. When it comes to stuff like this, it's really, you have to experience it yourself to believe in it. And I encourage people to try it themselves. It might open your eyes up a bit more. And I plan on making a future video of my own uh, my own way of to remote view. I am by no means a master at it, but I feel like my style might resonate with some of y'all. And also another video I plan on making is how to get target material, how to make a target for a remote viewer, which is very important as well. And I realize some of the stuff that I went over, I might have missed maybe some things that were on target with my notes or maybe even the drawings. If you see something that either is on target or off target, um, or your own opinion on my interpretation of something, I might be reaching a bit with it, feel free to comment below. I don't always catch everything when looking at Google Earth, but yeah, I'd say this is a pretty interesting remote view that I did, and one of the more accurate ones I've done. And I hope this spawns some conversation and some ideas in your head of how weird this world really is. But yeah, that's pretty much it, and I'll see y'all next time.